and welcome back to my channel. I am Karine, I am a mum of two and a Montessori teacher. In today's video, I want to chat with you about potty training. Well, as a Montessori teacher, I would prefer to use the term potty learning or toilet learning, because basically we consider that using the potty or the toilet is a skill, and a skill that your child will be interested to learn in time. And when I potty train my own children, well, I didn't really have a plan. I have to say that at the time, as a Montessori teacher, I didn't have a great knowledge in potty training. It was not part of my initial Montessori training as a 3 to 6 years old Montessori teacher. So I didn't have a great idea of how I was going to do that. But still, I knew that I didn't want to force my children. I wanted to follow the cues exactly in the same way that I was following the sensitive periods for language or fine motor skills or counting or everything else within the Montessori education. So I don't really recall many issues with potty training. So when parents started to ask me advice about potty training in my I didn't know exactly how to help them, and then I came across this book, Oh Crap Potty Training, because many parents on my group were recommending this book specifically, and so basically I bought this book, read it, and I decided to reach the author, Jamie Glowacki, because I think what she says makes so much sense. She's very common sense, and she also considers that potty training is a skill and it's something that you need to kind of follow your child, but also she believes that basically we do put our children in a nappy because it's convenient for us, and so it's up to us to kind of introduce our child that there is another way, to take care of those needs, and that we can help them to start to use the toilet or the potty. And so it's not at all a 3 days method or something very radical or something very strict. It really gives you a lot of information of, when to start potty training, why we were advised to start potty training so late, why we still advise to start potty training, later than previous generations. And why it's not that good, about the sensitive period for toilet learning, and all the kind of common issues you can go through. And it's a very good book, I have to say, and full of tips. So I had the pleasure to interview Jamie and to chat with her about potty training, about how she became an expert in potty training. We discussed all the common issues that parents came across when they potty train, and she was very kind to answer all those main issues. So basically what I did, it's a 6 video series, so you're going to receive videos every day, and with one main question that she answered for us, and watch them, comment on them, and basically I have one book to offer to one of you, and so I will pick one of you who has commented under one of these videos, and I will send you the book. So it's open worldwide, so just enjoy the videos. That's going to give you a lot of insight about how to start, what to do, how to get ready, how to get relaxed, the main issues generally around poop, and also there will be a specific question about elimination communication if you have done that with your babies from the start. And so that's a very insightful conversation that we had. So I let you enjoy those videos, and without further ado, let me introduce you to Jamie.
Jamie Glowacki. I'm the author of Oh Crap Potty Training. I've been doing this full-time for 10 years. I am mom to Pascal. He's now 12. And that's it. It's me and him. One of the biggest questions I get is, you have one kid and you think you're an expert on potty training? My knowledge is not based on my one child. I'll give you very quickly how I became a potty training expert, because this is not how when I was younger, I didn't say, gee, I think I'd like to be a potty trainer when I grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody does, right? What happened, I was a social worker before I had my child. I was a social worker in San Francisco, and I worked with dual diagnosed moms, which means they had substance abuse and mental illness. And I worked with them in residential facilities. They all had their kids, or they were trying to keep their kids. And I noticed, these 3, 4, 5-year-olds in diapers. And these moms didn't have a lot of money, so diapers are expensive. And I couldn't fathom how there were 4 or 5-year-olds in diapers. So I interviewed. This was part of my job. I wasn't doing, it wasn't anything special. I wasn't a parent yet. I didn't know that this was maybe a hot spot in parenting. I interviewed hundreds of moms my mom's age. Now I'm 50. So that gives you an idea. And they all had pretty much the same thing to say. There were some abusive practices, like just let them stay in their poo all day. They'll let them poo their pants and sit in it. Or, they used to spank the children. So I weeded out the abusive practices, and I taught these moms as a social worker how to potty train their kids. Fast forward a few years, I moved back to Rhode Island, my hometown, and I have my child. And without a doubt, there's an age range where it's easiest. And so my son turned 22 months, and I had groups, we didn't have Facebook yet, or Facebook groups, but we had our moms groups. And I remember telling people, I said, you know what, I'm out for a week. I have to potty train. And it was my first time hearing what a hot button potty training really is. You can't potty train a boy. Boys are hard to train. You can't potty train a 22-month-old boy. And I was like, you people are crazy. This is when you potty train. So I was like, okay, whatever. I stayed home and I potty trained Pascal. Well, he was famous for around town for potty training. I go into Whole Foods and people would say, is that the baby? Is that the baby who's potty trained? And I was like, what is going on? It was not a big deal to me. And, but at the time I owned a children's clothing store, secondhand children's clothing store. And I said, people wanted to know how I did it. And I said, all right, well, just come, I had a back room. I said, come on over and I'll just walk you through it. Well, the first class was free because I was like, who cares? This is just potty training. And then let me charge for the class. And then my classes started to sell out. And I was like, I charged a little bit more. They kept selling out, and a little bit more, and they kept selling out. Then pretty soon people were coming into my store, not to buy clothes, but because I was the potty training lady. So I said, oh my God, let me write this down, And I wrote it down, and it was very bare bones. And I put it on a website I made myself, which was horrible. And people were buying it. And I wrote it down for the people who couldn't make my class. I didn't write it down. Yeah, I didn't think oh my God, I have this book. And then it started to sell, and pediatricians started to contact me, and they were like, can I print this out for my office? Yeah, sure. You know what? And then people started emailing me questions. And I said, okay, wow, I really have the bare bones here, but people still need help. And long story short, I met up with a friend from high school who totally told me my website was awful, helped me redo my website. And I couldn't figure out, I said, okay, I need to help people. I need to answer these questions. I was getting autistic kids. I was getting triplets. I was getting single parents, all these different scenarios that weren't part of my original research in asking this other generation of moms. So for a while, for about a year, the book was $40, and it came with an online forum, 8 years ago when forums were popular. And I was literally helping thousands of parents at the same time. And it was amazing because I got to see the modern parent, people who EC, daycares, daycares and preschools are such a problem because if you're two working parents, you have one long weekend to potty train. So I got really hands-on with the modern problems. And so that forum was invaluable. It was pretty much like paid research. So I got to really understand the struggles of the modern parent. And then, then it just the book got rewritten, and Simon & Schuster bought it. And then it ended up, I'm a full-time potty trainer. Quite by accident. And I always tell people, I happen to be really good at this. I am almost, I have my own parenting struggles. I'm not an expert who is do it my way. And I tell people, I say this in my book constantly, I've done this thousands of times. That's what makes me an expert. I will never assume I know your child better than you. So you are the expert of your child. And I say this as a precursor to this conversation, but in all your parenting, listen to experts with a filter, because nobody knows your family and your child like you do. So that we can continue.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, it's good that you became an expert, because obviously that's indeed a field when we need help.
Exactly.
And I would have loved to come upon you and when I trained both my children, because I went through some of the difficulties you explained in your book, and I had to kind of find a way. I did anyway, but it would have been less stressful to have that book basically.
Yeah.